Hey guys, JANGBRiCKS here with my much talked about and much anticipated police station mock. This thing is finally here and it's truly epic. It's really big. It takes up basically all the space that I have for filming and yeah, as you can see it really just takes up the entire shot. Can't even quite see the top of this custom helicopter. This is the very top right up here of the police station, and the very bottom is down there, so I did manage to get everything into this one shot, but it was very difficult. So this thing is built on a 32 by 32 drive-by base plate right here, and over here is 16 by 32. Both of those came with the 2014 police station set, and so let's talk about details and specs. I think this used up, I don't know, probably somewhere between 2,200 and 2,400 pieces. Cost around $275, including pieces that I had already, and not including shipping costs for most of the pieces. So yeah, that basically gives you a scope on how much I spent just to get the pieces to build this thing. And I know I said I would have the video for this up yesterday, but I ran into a lot of problems. For some reason, the digital list for the pieces had a problem compiling, and so some pieces just did not show up on the list. And so I ended up not having a whole bunch of things that I was supposed to have, and I had to kind of improvise while I was building. So it took a lot longer than I expected, and you know, that's it. Also, the other thing is I did have to change one of the police vehicles, which I will kind of just give a brief overview on the police vehicles that are in here in the garages, and I also did want to make a custom helicopter. So you know, that's why it took a little bit of extra time. There are a few other things that I'll actually probably end up tweaking after this video, but I wanted to show you what I designed in LDD, and I'm actually going to say I'm not completely happy with this. The way it looks on the outside, I'm very happy with. The interior, particularly on the bottom floor, I'm definitely going to change a few things simply because, you know, I don't know, I guess some of the things I put in there weren't totally relevant to police. So, wow, I've spent almost 3 minutes just talking to you guys about this thing without actually really going into the detail. So, you can see there are 3 floors. And I'm going to say that because there are really only 2 floors, and then you've got these massive skylights up here. And then you do have a spot to walk around up here to access the helipad. And I will definitely be going into detail on each of the floors. But first, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this thing just so you can kind of get a view of each side. So probably going to get into the shot quite a bit here. Let's see. Okay, so this is side view of it. And this goes all the way out of my studio over here. Not really much of a studio, but you know, this thing just takes up way too much space. So you can see I just have a little bit of wall texture, as well as I used a lot of these 1x6x5 panel pieces for windows, just to let as much light in as I possibly could. I also used these textured bricks down here. I think they're called 1x2 bricks with masonry profile because they actually look like bricks, and they are Lego bricks. Kind of interesting. When you look at it from this angle, you really get an idea of how massive this thing is, because you just have the entire 48 wide space filled in with brick. So let's see, I should grab a minifigure and show you guys a minifig to scale with this. So here is a minifigure right here. I'm going to put him right down here, and that's how big one minifigure is compared to this gigantic building. So really dwarfs the minifigures, and in fact, unfortunately, it also really dwarfs all the other buildings in my city. It kind of will probably look awkward when I put it in my city, even though it will in fact fit in the designated spot, even though it's so large. And then this is just the last side view of it. And in here is actually the chief's office, so I use slightly smaller windows. And then you've just got some more texture. And then back to the front, I actually didn't really talk about the front yet. So on the front we've just got the garages, and I'll get into detail with that. And then you just got a bit of a, I just wanted to put a nice area in the front that was kind of open. I didn't want this to be all the way at the front either, and also just to kind of change the shape of this so it wasn't totally boxy. I did this wall corner over here a little bit differently from the rest. So yeah, I guess now I'll just go into detail with everything else. Oh no, you know what, actually, before I do that, I said I was gonna show the vehicles, so you know what, I think I'll do that first. So just move my camera closer in here, and we'll go over the vehicles. Some of these vehicles have already been shown in my custom police vehicles video, and so I guess you'll recognize some of them. But first one has no tires. So this actually used to be a much longer car, but I had to make a shorter one just to compensate for space in the garage, because there's another car back there, and this one used to be really long and it didn't fit with the garage door shut. So I had to redesign this car, and I want to use thin wheels, and I still don't have the tires for these rims yet, but those will go on to this once I get those. So this looks a little bit funny right now, but kind of happy with this. Doesn't look that much like a police car, and I'll probably end up changing this again and use this design as a sports car in my city, but probably not as a police car. And then I've got my undercover police car back here, if I can get it out. Having a bit of trouble here. And that's because this one doesn't really have lights on it. And this was in that video, those custom police vehicles video. And the van, which is in here, this van is just barely, whoops, didn't mean for that to happen, just barely clears, not just width with these mirrors, but the height just barely fits into this garage. Now you guys, if you want to check out that video, I think I'll put the link to that video in the description. You guys can check out some of these vehicles in that video. This was in that video as well, so I'm not really going to show the functions of these. Just going to give you kind of a general idea of what these things look like. You know, because they are, in fact, part of my police station. For the helicopter, I actually want to go with something different. I want my police force to have, you know, I guess we could say they have fundings. You know, that's why they have such, you know, nice cars. You know, hence the sports car and a huge van. So I decided to give them a concept helicopter. So this thing actually has two rotors, one on the left, one on the right. Both are angled. And I don't know, I guess I just thought this looked cool. The base of this helicopter is pretty much almost unchanged from the one that came in the museum break-in set. And I think there used to be a piece on here that had that set number, but it's not there anymore, so I can't really tell you the set number, but it came with that museum break-in set, the base of this helicopter. So this is partially custom. You know, really just the detail stuff is custom, but the base of it is not really my own design. So enough about everything else. Let's actually go into the inside of this thing. And wow, it's been 9 minutes. So I can already tell you this is just going to be a really long video, and I'm kind of sorry about that. But, you know, I do have a lot to say about this particular MOC. So I will go ahead and take off the second floor, and I'm actually not going to cut that out of the video because just so you guys can see how easy it is to remove the floors here. So there we go. So it is pretty heavy, but it does come off with quite a bit of ease. So I'll just place this down here, and I just want to grab this little 1x2 that the second floor took with it. So now that the cars are gone, you can see the interior pretty well here, And in here is kind of what I was talking about, where some irrelevant things. You've got, you know, something that you'd probably find in an auto shop. This is, I actually have no idea what these are called, but they're used for wheeling around engines, and then you can place the engine into the empty engine bay of a car. Don't really know what they're called, and it's probably wouldn't be found in a police station, but I just kind of put it there anyway. And then over here, again, not really anything to do with police stations, but there's a buzzsaw, and it's a pretty nice mini build. Looks pretty good, but again, it's just, it's got nothing to do with the police station. So I'll probably end up taking both of these out, putting more smaller tools, and probably some minifig accessories that are more specific to police-related things, like guns, walkie-talkies, and that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll even put the police bikes and trikes in there. We'll see. This is the same base plate, like I said, as the set, so I still have these number 1 and number 2 stickers. You've got the standard opening garage door pieces. And then you can kind of see how I built the walls here using a lot of these panel pieces, particularly in the bottom floor. Going to this part of the front, you can see I've just got a tiled pattern here, and got some flowers. I don't know why this part isn't really necessary, but I did want to have a corner on the stairs just because I thought it would look cool. So even though it's not totally necessary, I just have a corner in the stairs here anyway. And you've got 2 doors. This one on the left is kind of loose for some reason. Don't really know why. And then you walk in and you come along to the reception. And the receptionist probably just deals with 911 calls and that kind of thing, I guess. And so he or she would be sitting right here, and you've got an old style telephone that was fun to build, and then you've got a computer with a keyboard and mouse, and then I did my best to kind of get a glass tabletop here, and then you've got some letters stacked up over there, and then off to this side, more things I'm going to tweak later on, because like I said, this is basically how I had designed it on LDD, Lego Digital Designer, in case you're not familiar with that acronym. So I didn't put anything here, but this is kind of the forensics area, and I did leave spaces for tools and more evidence to go, but I do already have one little trans red gem over there, and then, oops, putting my camera over here, and then right here in the corner you've just got a newspaper, and then of course the stairs that lead up to the next floor. So, very last thing is just the place for the policemen to walk into the garage. And I think the last thing I just didn't show was there is another door over here that goes directly into the garage. And you've got these just kind of nice column sort of things. So I'll pick this up and move it down to the floor. Grab the second floor. So even though this thing is really, really massive, it's pretty strong in that I can lift up the whole thing as one thing, and it doesn't fall apart on me. So before I take off the roof, I actually want to show you just how I kind of did these skylights. These let in a ton of light, and they're at different angles from the front and the back, as you probably already noticed. And these can open up. It's a little bit fragile, but I think it's pretty nice that you can open them. This one tends to break instead of hinging, and then I have to fix it, and then I can hinge it. The nice thing about these opening up is that you actually end up with a ton of space. I can just put my whole hand in here. If I wanted to, I could do some minifig posing, all sorts of stuff, and I wouldn't even have to take off the roof. So that's a plus. Pretty nice function to have, even if it's a little bit fragile. Do my best to close these. A little bit difficult to close. It's always useful when you're the one who designed the whole building in the first place, so you really know what you're doing when you're not just the building process, but I guess the using process, you could call it. put this down as well. So on the second floor, it's mostly just jail cells. You've got 8 jail cells. Each one can house 2 prisoners. You've also got kind of the officer rec area and the chief's office, which is up here on the right. But we'll start out over here where you gain access from the stairs. So right in here is the like I said, the place where you'd come up from the stairs. And right behind that on the left side is the ladder leading up to the roof, and there is a hatch that you can open to go up onto the roof. And I just built this using these railing pieces, the same ones I used down here, just turned sideways and clipped onto the wall. The chief's office is pretty nice. I gave him a hardwood floor just to, signify that his room was important. And I used a flesh-colored door just because I wanted to have a solid colored door, and that's the only color that Lego carries in any kind of door that's completely solid and opaque. So, I did want to use that. So even if it has that flesh color, it's kind of tough to see just because of the way the lighting is. So I'll actually pop this off. This is a chalkboard. And I did, in fact, have a piece of chalk. Wow, okay. That's being kind of stubborn. There we go. I did this using dark green tiles and some brown panel pieces. And just mounted it on the wall. And I had a animal tooth piece down there as chalk, but it kept falling off. So I decided just to leave it off for this video. And then where the chief actually sits, you've got a nice computer, and I'll try and get as steep of an angle here as I can so you can really see the details in here. So I used jumper pieces to get all the angles on, the computer and the keyboard. I tried to get it as natural looking as I could, because in Lego you always see parallel lines everywhere. So I kind of tried to make these look skewed and, like somebody actually uses them. And then you've got some files over here and a coffee mug, the all-important coffee mug. Every Lego model needs to have a coffee mug somewhere in it. And then we move on to kind of the rec area. And I'm going to say this right now, it's kind of cruel that I put a rec area right next to all the jail cells, but I didn't really have another place for it. So if you can't already tell, this is a pool table, and it's kind of a nice mini build. And then I left a few open spots here for some more balls, which are actually just studs, different colored studs. And black studs represent the holes. And you do have pool cues right here on little clips. And there is actually, believe it or not, a little drawer in here. And if you play pool, you'll know what these are. Those are the little boxes of chalk that you rub on the tip of your cue. I think so that you, when you hit the ball, it doesn't slip when you hit the tip to the ball. You get friction and you actually end up hitting the ball. That probably sounded really confusing, and I'm not really a pool player, so can't really explain it very well. Then over here you've just got a table with a platter of pizza, some seats for the officers. And then, like I said, you've got 8 jail cells. You've got 4 on this side, 4 on that side. Just tried to include a bit of detail on the roofs of these, and these do come off, these little roofs, so you can see how I built insides of these. So let's see how close I can move this. Okay, that's as close I'm going to be able to get it. And so you can see in here that I did include toilets in each one. I actually think these toilets are a little bit too nice for a jail cell. But and then the bunk beds, I'm going to try and remove one. Here we go. Unfortunately, this is some of those pieces that I didn't quite have because of technical problems, and so I had to use the next closest color, dark red. It looks pretty similar to reddish brown, and There is actually one more of these pieces that goes down here. Kind of got left in the cell. This is basically what the bunks look like. Very simple build. You've just got pillows on the end. And each jail cell, in case you didn't already notice, has 3 bars representing the window. You can't really, it only looks like they have 2 bars because the bunk is blocking them, but there are 3 bars per jail cell. And so, I think I already said this, but it can house a total of 16 prisoners. So that's definitely pretty good, you know, for a police station to be able to hold that many prisoners. And then you've just got the key right there. And I think that's basically it for the second floor. And, you know, I guess there's not that much to say for the roof. But I guess I'll, you know, go into show what little detail there is over there. Just move the second floor down here. First thing I'm going to point out on the roof is it actually goes out farther than, it sticks out past the second floor, and so I have these little angle bits down here just so that it looks a little bit less awkward when it's hanging off. But it does make it annoying when I take off the roof because I have to take them off to set the roof down. And then you can see some cracks are actually kind of forming here, unfortunately, because I was opening these up earlier. So things are already breaking on me. So you can kind of see the roof is really the most unstable part of this entire build. You know, just because of the way it's built, it's so hollow, but it takes up a lot of space. So, you know, you're going to kind of expect it to be that fragile. And that piece of chalk I was telling you about, well, I must have just stuffed it in this satellite dish here, and now I can't remove it. Oh, here we go. This was the piece I used as chalk. And so that I wouldn't lose it, I stuck it in the satellite dish. What a great idea. So, do have a helipad up here, and I tried to make some angled stairs. Turned out okay. I'm a little bit annoyed that it's really wobbly, but you know, you do what you can. I actually had a larger helipad here because I used these angled plates. I used the 8x8 version at first, but then it was too big and it actually stuck out over the side over here, so I changed to 6x6 wings angled plates, and that looks better, I guess. And I really want to have a much larger helipad than in the sets, in the police and fire station sets. The helipads, they use those single octagonal plates which are 10x10, and I really don't like those. Just they're so tiny and they just barely fit a helicopter. So I wanted to make a bigger one. This is 12x12, so I'm glad about that. Put a fair amount of detail in here. This is what I was talking about, that hatch that opens up. So that's basically all that is. And then, don't know why this is here. I guess I just put it there. And then, last thing here, I guess, is this antenna kind of complex. Got some, I think this one is more of a satellite, and this one looks to me more like a speaker, but, you know, I guess it's all up to your own interpretation. And this is all just on a big rod. You've got one antenna sticking out here, and then you've got another one back there. And that's basically it for the roof. I did use a ton of these on this set, and I mentioned in one of my haul videos, I think I said 25 of them. So quite a few of those were used, and it was pieces like that that ended up making this thing so darn expensive. You can see I did use the hinges here, but I used way more hinges on the back. See, I only used 2 there, 2 there, 2 clips there, and 2 clips there, and same with the other side. But back here I use clips everywhere, so there's a lot of friction. These really won't want to open unless you physically take it apart. You can also see I didn't put any bars down there to help you pull it out. So really only the front of this is meant to open, and even then it's quite fragile. So really this is a mostly display only kind of thing. I am glad that this is really just, it's able to open up so easily. That's really good. I'm thankful for that it worked. It's always one of the risks of designing such large-scale projects in LDD first is you actually don't know how strong your model is going to be until you actually build it. So what you really have to do is go as strong as you can from the very preliminary designing phase. So you have to be very careful. And as you can see here, it actually ended up, whoops, this floor is turned the wrong way. It actually ended up working pretty well. And it seems to go on with relative ease. So I just stuck on the second floor with really no problems at all. So that's really good. And like I said earlier, the roof actually does stick out a little bit right there. Sticks out 2 studs extra. And that's why like I said, that's why I have those angled pieces, inverted angles like this. And then those just go on the sides here. Just quickly pop these on. So yeah, that's that's basically it for this video. And this video is super long, 25-ish minutes. So yeah, sorry this is so long, but I wanted to go into a lot of detail because I put a ton of time and a ton of money and effort and just a ton of everything went into this MOC, and it looks fantastic. I'm really glad about it, and I really want to hear what you guys think about this MOC. So be sure to say something to me in the comments down there below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.